This is Speak of the Devils on AZ Family Sports.
Welcome to Speak of the Devils, the premier TV show for Sun Devil Athletics. I'm Brad Denny with 3TV. Joe Healy is unable to make this week's show. He'll be back next week, so don't worry. So we had to go to the bench, bring in the six-man extraordinaire, Ralph Amsden, a regular on our podcast. Who this week just made appearance number 50. And so this is the number one on the TV show. Ralph, welcome.
I appreciate it, Brad. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for staying up late. Ralph is based in North Carolina, so he's making sure, giving love. But he's, of course, folks out here know you for all the amazing work you did covering ASU and continue to do covering Arizona high school football. But Ralph, let's start tonight's show off talking Sun Devil basketball. Now, they had quite an adventure this past weekend in your neck of the woods in Duke. In an exhibition game, we should say. This game did not count, and thank God for that, because what we saw from the Sun Devils in this tune-up game, which was, to celebrate the career of Bobby Hurley as he's bringing his Devils back there to his alma mater, it did not go well. The Devils fell 103-47. The Devils shot just 28% from the field in the game. Let's start off with maybe on the positive note, Ralph. What were some of the things that went right for the Sun Devils?
Well, the layup line looked good before the game started. It was great to see Bobby Hurley reunited with Coach Krzyzewski. The drive was very lovely. Lots of fall leaves and fall colors. And other than that, I really don't know what to tell you, because it was a rough go. If I told you that 150 total points were scored, you might be like, "Oh, wow, a lot of offense." No, not for Arizona State. 56-point loss, and it didn't get bad until the final 10 minutes. And so I will say that there was a glimmer of hope or two in there. The young guys do look very, very athletic. Jaden Quaintance is probably going to be the leader of this team this year, and Joson Sainon is a very fluid athlete with a great shot, or a potentially great shot.
Let's talk about Quaintance a little bit, just because he of course was landed in Tempe as one of the most heralded recruits in recent memory. A guy that is the youngest player in college basketball, just 17 years old. He did show some kind of that youth. He's very raw in his game, but also some of that potential. What were some of the things that you're able to see from him against, obviously one of the best teams in the country in Duke, but maybe some glimmers that of what you're able to project from the season ahead?
Well, he's got a lot of athleticism. He's a very good ball handler. He has very, very long arms. He poked a lot of balls loose. He kept a lot of rebounds alive. He had a great spin move dunk that showed off his athleticism. The best way to describe what I saw in Jaden Quaintance is, what if Lou Dort was 5 inches taller? There's definitely some things to be desired as far as his reaction time on the defensive side of the ball, but he's guarding some of the quickest, best, fastest, most aggressive, most athletic players in the country, and they were playing as if all children's hospitals would get shut down if they didn't win by 60. So you can't read too much into it, but he was very high energy, very long, and anytime he's on the court, you're going to feel his presence.
So now flipping to the other side of the coin there, obviously a laundry list of issues for the Devils there. Guys, we only have about 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the segment, so can't go into all the issues that are currently plaguing this Sun Devil team as they get ready for the season. But what were some of the more concerning things you saw in that loss to Duke?
Just the difference between Duke and Arizona State. Duke has Cooper Flagg, the best player in the country coming out of high school. He's already the leader of the team. They already defer to him, and he communicates very well. So they have chemistry now, and they've been together just as long as Arizona State has. So Arizona State lacked communication. They lacked an understanding of who the guy was, and late in the game, they struggled to rotate defensively on 3-point shooting. Duke started out 2 for 12, and then they went on a 14 of 19 run. A lot of those threes were wide open. So I would say that chemistry can solve some of what ails Arizona State on the defensive side. There was a lot of great effort there, and they won't play very many teams that are as tall as Duke in the future. So that's something to look forward to as well. But I think it was just a lack of chemistry that really stood out to me.
All right, so of course ASU making the jump up this season into the Big 12, one of the premier conferences for basketball in the entire country. And of course, as is almost an annual tradition at this point, a lot of new faces on this Sun Devil squad. So overall, obviously, it was still an exhibition, as bad as the margin of defeat was. But were there any things you were able to glean from it in terms of just, when you look ahead of what this Son of a roster is, kind of, just about a week out from the opener?
Yeah, I looked at their schedule and I didn't see Duke, and I felt good. That's pretty much it. I mean, Duke was hand checking in this game, like it was the 1990s NBA Finals. It wasn't what you expect in a charity basketball game for kids. Cooper Flagg was covered in sweat 15 minutes into the game. They were playing desperate basketball. I think Arizona State can learn something from that. They can up their energy, and against the Big 12, there's going to be very, very tough opponents, but a lot of them have a lot of transfers as well. They're going to be figuring out themselves as well. You just take it one game at a time.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of things that they're going to be able to work on after this game. Certainly no shortage of things for the Devils. But, of course, a lot of new faces. The talent level in Tempe and for Bobby Hurley is certainly as high or higher than it's been in recent years. So a lot of excitement. We'll see what they're able to do starting next week. But after the break, we're going to be bringing you a part of my conversation with ASU star running back Cameron Skattebo and a unique local endorsement deal that he's been able to put forth. Welcome back to Speak of the Devils. The NIL space has resulted in several creative ideas, and I recently had a chance to sit down with ASU running back Cameron Skattebo and Burrito Express owner Angel Marin to talk about their creative collaboration. All right, Cam, so about 7 games through the season, you've had a number of highlight reel runs. What's been your favorite so far?
I'd say the Utah one, because just the fact that I didn't even realize what I was doing until I seen it on a video later that night. So I would say that's probably my favorite run so far this year.
When you're going through a run like that, what's going through your head? Is it just purely instinctual at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think my instincts definitely just take over. I seen the guy coming underneath me. I knew I had to do my best to get out of his way. But once the leg getting stuck in the ground and stuff, that was all instincts. I didn't think about doing that. That's not something anybody really thinks about. I kind of just made it happen, and I was standing up and running again. So that was awesome.
And then the second touchdown against Cincinnati, where you get strung out wide. 2 guys, I believe, you're almost out past the 10, and then you deliver the hit on that guy at the goal line as well. Like, walk our viewers and listeners through that play.
Yeah, and I knew that the guy walked up on the edge I had a one-on-one with him. I had to beat him. The coaches gave me the opportunity to beat him one-on-one, and I made it happen around the edge. Getting that guy off of me, and then I seen number 7 coming in out of the corner of my eye, flying up pretty quick, and those are kind of the plays where people get hurt and don't realize it. So I kind of braced for impact and realized that somebody was coming full speed. So I just laid into it, and it worked out that way.
What do you think that you've shown the college football nation at large, folks at the next level, with what your performance on the field so far this season?
Yeah, I think it's showing the work I put in the off season, how serious I took it this year. And that I've grown up a little bit and understanding that, the grind pays off at the end. And I'm not done yet. I still got 5 games left plus whatever we have in store for the future. But, I'm excited to be here at ASU, and I'm just going to keep grinding for my fans and supporters.
Kenny mentioned a few times that over the offseason he had conversations with you about just, in terms of just where you're at and where you need to be, and then obviously your response has proven that how you've taken it. What did it mean to you just have like a coach, not be afraid to have those difficult, frank conversations, and then the trigger that led you to kind of turn things around and or at least in the direction that you're on now?
Yeah, I think him coming in and all of the experience he has, and that's important for when a head coach takes a job, because guys don't look at him as a nobody. They look at him as somebody that knows what he's talking about. And then when he came in, he pushed me last year, but this year he's pushed me in a different way. And I think I've understood it more in the fact that he is pushing me because he knows what it takes to make it to the next level. He's coached a lot of great running backs in his time, so he knows what it takes to push me to get there. So I'm just trying my best to take it under and keep pushing.
The team has shown great resiliency so far this season. Being able to come back from some holes early on in ball games. What do you attribute that ability to kind of rally back to? Yeah,
I think summer workouts was a big thing. I'll always go back to summer workouts because you have guys falling out early in runs when it's 115 degrees outside, and then they get back up and they finish. And that was a testimony to us as leaders and the rest of the team falling in line and making sure that we're all on the same page. And you could just see it in the games when we're down 10 points that there's no doubt that we could still win the football game. So that's good to see. It just shows the grind that we put in is starting to pay off a little bit, especially all the way till the end.
So obviously your success is in large part due to that hard work, also in large part due to Fueled by Burrito Express and the partnership that you have here with Angel and one of the best local businesses that's really kind of been putting the money where their mouth is in terms of supporting Sun Devil student athletes. Guys, walk us through how's the origin of this partnership come together?
Just out of luck, really. We knew some people, we had some mutual friends, and I'm like, this kid's going to be good, let's get together. And he wasn't out, looking at the time for deals, and we just happened to link up and talked, and he's like, I'm a simple dude. I'm like, I'm a simple dude. I'm like, let's do something. And it was really over a handshake and a 15-minute conversation. And as we've become friends and spent more time together, we tried to be creative and figure out something new, and that's how we together kind of came up with let's do our own signature burrito. And I always like to joke that Nike came up with the Jordan, Burrito Express has the burrito. I mean, they're pretty comparable, I think. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if it's going to change the world, but yeah, it's been fun. It's fun, dude, and it's good for him, and it's great for us.
Why has Cam been such a good fit? Because obviously, you guys have been such strong supporters of Sundell Athletics for so many years. Why was he a great fit for this partnership?
I think everybody's been a good fit that we've worked with in the past. I think Cam's been really good fit. I think our values align in general, not just about football and just in life. We can chop up about anything. We don't even talk about football that much, to be honest with you. Just like I said, our values align, and he actually loves Burrito Express, which is pretty important. He's there on a regular basis, and we took a risk on him, and I know he's had opportunities, to go other places and do other things, but that's when I go back to he's a man of his word, and our values align. He made a commitment to us, and with all the national spotlight he's got now, he could go on and do other things if he wanted to, but he his word means something. So.
Why has been supporting Sun Devil student athletes for so many years, and also a supporter of Speak of the Devils for a number of years now.
Yeah.
Why is being so active in the Sun Devil community such a key component of the Burrito Express business model? I'm an
ASU grad, and I don't know. I love the state of Arizona. I graduated from Arizona State University. My mom graduated. It's in our blood. I think I've said that in the past. We just like to be a part of the community, and ASU is a huge part of Arizona. Of Maricopa County. It's just a big part of that. And any way that we can be involved, get our name out there and support athletes. I was an athlete. My brother was an athlete. We love sports, and we really love to support people that are chasing their dreams. I mean, how cool is that? How fun is that? I mean, to see Cam doing this, I mean, it's not about me. It's not about Burrito Express, but really about Cam and what he's bringing to the Valley, and what he's giving, all the excitement he's brought to us.
Welcome back to Speak of the Devils. With ASU heading to Stillwater for a key game at Oklahoma State, I had a chance to catch up with a couple of key Sun Devils to get their thoughts on the big matchup. Defensive back Xavion Alford and running back DeCarlos Brooks. Over the bye week, obviously it's time for self-scouting. What are some of the things that kind of, in that evaluation of yourself and also kind of the defense that you were able to take away?
I feel like I've been playing pretty solid, but I mean, I'm pretty hard on myself, my biggest critic. I feel like I can play better. Obviously, want to get more takeaways for the defense. Really, that's the big thing of mine going into this last stretch, trying to produce takeaways for the offense. and just trying to be consistent, trying to get better each and every game. I feel like I've been doing that, but obviously you can keep getting better. As a defense, we've been playing better communication-wise, just responding well. I feel like as a team, we could still work towards that, like offense, defense, special teams, just on responding better. Some games we responded better than others. Some games we continue to fight back, came up short, but ultimately it's just the process. We're working on it every day. So the bye week was good for us, just get back healthy, get our minds refreshed to go finish out the rest of the season.
When you look at some of the performances on the road, even like the last game in Cincinnati, some issues in the first half, shut them out in the second half. Where have you identified as some of the fixes that you guys can implement to make sure you have a more consistent road performance?
I would say it's really just us, like energy level. We gotta, like Coach Dillon said, we have to produce that energy even when we're on the road. I feel like at times we never, even the game is going bad or good. This team, good thing about this team, we don't freak out, we don't flinch. Like people are not going at each other on the sideline. We're really trying to figure out the solution to the problem. But as far as I just feel like an energy level, we just have to embrace, going on the road. And once we embrace that, I feel like our play will just do the rest. We're a good football team, but we all have to be, keep each other up, keep the energy high, so we're able to make those plays and be motivated, offense, defense, special teams, and vice versa. So.
When you look at this Oklahoma State squad, obviously they had some struggles so far this year, but some dangerous playmakers. Ollie Gordon in the backfield, Brendan Presley is one of the most productive receivers in the conference. What jumps out to you most about what this Cowboy offense likes to do schematically?
They're pretty similar to a lot of teams that we've seen in the Big 12. They kind of do simple things, They give a little bit away with their indicators and things like that. But obviously they had a running back over there. They like to run the ball. Everybody in college football does. Everybody in college football says they have a running back. They like to run the ball. So obviously stopping the run and then eliminating their playmakers, they have in the pass game is something that we trying to hone in on. So this week is really just about the process. We feel like, we match up pretty well. We can match up with anybody. It's just about us, doing our job every play, executing, playing fast, physical, with energy on the road. So.
What are you expecting, atmosphere-wise, being on the road at OSU?
I've been there. I played there my freshman year. We actually won there on Halloween on the game-winning sack. So, that's probably, the biggest, it was sold-out crowd, things like that. The bench is right by the stands. The fans are right there. So I expect it to be a great atmosphere, and I expect us to, rise up to the challenge. It's a homecoming game, another homecoming game. So, we trying to take that challenge as a team, to go win on the road, go play better on the road, be better on the road, be the same. Road, away, it doesn't really matter, but just to be better.
What were some of the reasons that you think the offense may have been a little sluggish in the first half on the road, and then maybe some of the fixes that you guys have identified?
I think it's just being consistent with our plays and details, and just being like Coach Royal talks about, being self-starters, starting out fast, starting out strong, and then keeping just off and on that when we have that lead and we have that momentum. So I think we had that last week. It's just certain plays, we made a couple mistakes and turnovers, whatever, but. Those are the things that we need to bounce back from, and I think going forward, that's what we're going to do.
Going on the road and facing an Oklahoma State team that's obviously struggling a little bit this season, but still some formidable pieces on that defense. What jumps out to you about what you've seen from this Cowboy defense?
They have a pretty good defensive line. You scouted that out, and just they play aggressive when they need to be. And they're not just got roll over. That's what everybody's been talking about, coaches and staff and people. That's what we just seen on film. So we start out, we play the game that I know we could play. Just play aggressive. We're gonna be fine.
What kind of atmosphere are you expecting there? Obviously, it's their homecoming game, so it should be a rowdy place. They might be kind of have a backs against the wall mentality.
Yeah, it's our homecoming, like everybody's talking about. So they might have a little bit more juice, a little bit more energy than normal games. But we've been not as good as we have been on the road, so that's been a philosophy that we want to kind of change that into going this week, and I think that's what we're going to do. So we're just as juiced as they are in regards to how their homecoming is. We want to get a dub on the road in a good fashion.
Welcome back to Speak of the Devils. The football team back in action this weekend. They're heading to Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is the third straight year, Ralph, that ASU has faced Oklahoma State, but the first, of course, as Big 12 conference rivals. And the Cowboys have an argument to be made that is maybe the most disappointing team in America, a team that came into the year ranked, that had Big 12 title aspirations, but have lost 5 straight. They're the only team in the conference that has not won a conference game yet.
That is correct, and they are among the many Big 12 teams that received first place votes. I think Arizona, Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Kansas State. Kansas State amongst them is the only one with a shot right now. So it just goes to show you none of us know what we're talking about. But I think we did know Arizona State wasn't going to be the worst team in this conference, and they really have a chance to establish themselves as a force in the Big 12 if they get a win this Saturday.
All right, let's take a quick look at the Oklahoma State offense. This was supposed to be a unit that was led by the reigning Doak Walker Award winner, Ollie Gordon, but he's still putting up a solid year, but not nearly the difference maker that he was a season ago. They've had a number of issues at quarterback. Alan Bowman has been benched twice. He's now going to get the start against ASU due to injury. They have some intriguing weapons led by Brennan Presley at the wide receiver position, but it seems like a situation where just kind of their inconsistencies up front and at quarterback that if you can lock down Ollie Gordon, you're going to be able to contain this Oklahoma State offense.
Absolutely, and that's been the strategy of pretty much everybody that's played them so far. 6 of Oklahoma State's games this year, they've averaged less than 4 yards per carry. And for somebody who was a Heisman candidate coming into the season, that's completely insane. And so this is going to be a great offense for Arizona State's run defense to get healthy against. As we've seen Arizona State get a little bit more banged up as the season has gone along, the run defense, which was the strength of this team, has given way a little bit, especially in games against Kansas and Cincinnati. But I think this is going to be the perfect opportunity for them to find a way to bottle up Ollie Gordon. And the fact that Alan Bowman hasn't beat anybody on his own, and I doubt that starts this weekend.
All right, let's flip over to the defensive side for the Cowboys. Now, as bad as their struggles have been on offense, absolutely abysmal on defense so far. Ralph, little pop quiz. How many teams in the FBS give up more yards per carry than Oklahoma State?
What was Sister Act about?
Oh, good question.
None. None.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Dead last in the country, and they're 131st in yards per play. This is a team that, of course, is a little shorthanded. Colin Oliver, Nick Martin, they're all-American caliber linebackers. They've been out. They're going to be out for this game as well, and they just not have been able to stop anybody, giving up 38 points in 3 straight games.
And they've given over 300. I think they've given up over 300 yards rushing 3 times this season. Oof. That's a mark that Arizona State has actually hit twice this year against Mississippi State and Kansas. I look for this to be one of amongst a season full of great rushing performances. I look at this as one of the hallmark performances for Arizona State this year if they can execute their game plan.
All right, Ralph, let's dive real quick into our 3 keys of the game. For me, it's load up the box, make Alan Bowman beat you, and just kind of avoid that first half lull that we've seen from the Devils, and just, get some more passing guys involved in the passing game other than Jordan Tyson. What are the keys for you?
For me, it's really physicality. Go out there, don't be intimidated, go push them around on their home field. The other is don't be too risky. I know there's the no risk it, no biscuit mentality, but that came back to bite Arizona State last week. Just stay within your game plan. Be as conservative as you need to be to get the job done. And lastly, defensively, don't be afraid to send somebody after Alan Bowman. I know that I think they've only given up 7 sacks this year. Let's see if we can ratchet that total up a little bit. They've thrown 11 interceptions as a team. Arizona State has generated 11 turnovers on the year. I think that's a recipe for some defensive success for Arizona State.
All right, as we close out here, Ralph, what's your final score prediction for Saturday?
I'm going with a double up, a good old-fashioned double up, 34-17 Arizona State on the road.
I think ASU is going to have some issues as they have all season long on the road. But ultimately, I think the run game is just going to be too strong for that Cowboy defense. ASU gets out of Stillwater victors, 28-21, and newly bowl eligible. We'll be back same time next week as Joe and I will be looking back at this game at Oklahoma State and looking ahead to a home date with UCF.